The door clicked shut behind Mia with the soft finality of a secret being sealed. She leaned against it, backpack sliding from her shoulder to the carpet with a muted thud. The dorm room smelled faintly of vanilla candle and the lavender detergent her mom still mailed in care packages. For the first time in weeks, the place was hers alone. Sophia, her roommate. Her best friend since orientation week when they both shown up wearing the same thrift store band tee, was supposed to be gone until midnight. Gallery opening downtown, then drinks with the photography club. She'd texted a selfie from the Uber. Black dress, red lipstick, caption, "Do not wait up," Mia believed her. She always did. She peeled off her hoodie, then the rest, until the only thing left was the mismatched socks she'd worn since high school. The overhead light felt too clinical, so she killed it, leaving only the amber glow of the string lights Sophia had tacked above her bed like constellations. Music off. Fan on low. The room breathed with her. She flopped onto her unmade bed, phone in one hand, the other tracing idle circles on her stomach. No audience. No performance. Just the small, electric freedom of being unobserved. The lock turned. Mia registered the sound a half-second too late. The door swung inward, spilling hallway fluorescence across the floor like a spotlight. Sophia stood framed in it, one boot already over the threshold. Mouth open mid-sentence. Something about the gallery closing early. Something about rain, then nothing. They stared. Sophia's eyes went wide, not in shock exactly, but in the way you look at a painting you've walked past 100 times and suddenly notice the hidden figure in the background. Mia's pulse thundered in her ears. She yanked the quilt up to her chin, knees to chest, a clumsy origami of limbs and cotton. Gallery flooded, Sophia managed. Her voice cracked on the last word. Pipes burst. I texted, "My phone's on silent," Mia said, too loud. You said midnight. I know. Sophia's gaze flicked to the ceiling, the floor, anywhere but the quilt cocoon. I'm sorry. She gestured vaguely behind her, like the hallway might swallow her whole. But she didn't move. Mia's cheeks burned. The quilt smelled like fabric softener in yesterday's coffee. She clutched it tighter. Close the door, Soph. Sophia stepped inside instead, pulling it shut with a soft click. The light vanished. The string bulbs painted them both in bruised gold. She leaned back against the door, arms crossed. Keys still dangling from one finger. I should have knocked, she said. You have a key. I know. Silence stretched, thick as the humid air after rain. Mia's heart refused to slow. She waited for the joke, the pivot to sarcasm, Sophia's usual armor, but it didn't come. Sophia exhaled through her nose. I didn't expect this, Mia laughed, a sharp, mortified sound. Yeah, well, surprise, another beat. Then quietly. You look calm. The word landed strangely. Not naked. Not exposed. Come, Mia swallowed. I thought I was alone. You were. Sophia's voice dropped. Until I ruined it. You didn't ruin... Mia stopped. The lie tasted sour. She tried again. It's just dorm life. Zero privacy. You know how it is. Sophia nodded, but her eyes were on the quilt now, on the way Mia's fingers worried the edge. I do know, she said. I pretend I don't, but I do. Mia risked a glance. Sophia's face was unreadable in the low light, but her shoulders had curled inward like she was bracing for impact. It was the same posture she wore after critique sessions, when a professor dismantled her photos, when the pretty trust fund boys at the gallery talked over her. Mia softened. You okay? Sophia huffed a laugh that wasn't a laugh. I'm the one who walked in on you. I should be asking you that. I'm fine, Mia said automatically. Then quieter. I'm not used to being seen like that. Sophia's gaze snapped up. Like what? Like I wasn't performing. The confession slipped out before Mia could cage it. No filter. No angle, just me. Sophia was quiet for so long Mia thought she'd broken something irreparable. Then, I get that, you do? Sophia pushed off the door, crossed the room in 3 slow steps, and sat on the edge of her own bed. The mattress dipped. She kicked off her boots one by one. You think I like being the girl with the camera? The one who's always on? Documenting everything so I don't have to feel it? Mia blinked. This wasn't the Sophia who quoted Susan Sontag at parties. This was the girl who sometimes cried in the shower so no one would hear. I thought you loved it, Mia said. I love the work, Sophia corrected. The rest? It's exhausting. Always framing. Always curating. Even when I'm alone, I'm thinking about how it'll look later, on film, on Instagram, in someone else's story. She picked at a loose thread on her sleeve. Tonight I just wanted to come home and... Stop! Mia's grip on the quilt loosened. So you came back early? Yeah, Sophia's mouth twisted. And walked in on you being the one thing I can't seem to manage. Unself-conscious. The air between them shifted, charged and fragile. Mia sat up, quilt tucked under her arms. You could have knocked. I know. Sophia's eyes flicked to Mia's face, then away. But I didn't want to give you time to put the mask back on. Mia's breath caught. You wanted to see me like that? Sophia's flush was visible even in the dim light. I don't know what I wanted, I see you all the time, Mia, in class, at meals. Asleep with your mouth open, drooling on my pillow. Hey, but I've never seen you relaxed. Not really. And then I did. And it was... She searched for the word. Honest, Mia's throat tightened. You're freaking me out a little. Sorry. Sophia started to stand. I'll go crash on the futon in the lounge. No. The word left Mia's mouth before she could stop it. Sophia froze. Mia swallowed. Stay, just... Sit. Sophia sat. They breathed in tandem, the fan whirring overhead like a metronome. Outside, someone laughed too loud in the hall, then silence. Mia spoke first. I'm getting a deadbolt, Sophia snorted. Fair, but... Mia hesitated. Maybe we make a rule. If the sock's on the door, we knock anyway, Sophia finished. And wait, Mia smiled despite herself. Deal! Sophia's shoulders dropped. She leaned back against the wall, legs stretched out. For what it's worth. You looked beautiful. Mia's heart stuttered. Don't get weird. Too late. Another silence, softer this time. Mia let the quilt slip to her waist. The air was cool against her skin, but she didn't flinch. Sophia's gaze stayed on her face. I'm not hitting on you, Sophia added quickly. I don't want to pretend I didn't see you. Not tonight. Mia nodded slowly. Okay, Sophia's fingers drummed against her knee. Can I ask you something? Shoot. Do you ever feel like... We're both just waiting for permission? To stop performing? Mia thought of the way Sophia angled her camera away from mirrors, how she deleted half her selfies before posting. She thought of her own careful outfits, the playlist curated for imaginary audiences. All the time, she said. Sophia's smile was small, real. Then maybe we stop, just here. Just us, Mia considered. Then deliberately she let the quilt fall to her lap. Not seductive. Not performative, just there. Sophia's breath hitched, but she didn't look away. Your turn, Mia said. Sophia laughed, shaky. I'm not getting naked. Not that, Mia gestured vaguely. The mask. Take it off. Sophia's hands moved to the hem of her dress. She hesitated, then pulled it over her head in one motion, leaving her in a faded tank top and underwear. She tossed the dress onto her chair like shedding armor. There, she said. No curation, Mia grinned. You still look like a hipster. Shut up. But Sophia was smiling too. They sat like that, half-dressed and wholly seen, the space between their beds suddenly smaller. The fan hummed. The string lights flickered once, then held steady. Sophia spoke into the quiet. I used to think vulnerability was a solo sport. Mia tilted her head. And now? Now I think it's a duet. Sophia's voice was barely above a whisper. But only if both people show up. Mia reached across the gap, fingers brushing Sophia's knee. Not sexual. Just contact. I'm here. Sophia's hand covered hers. Me too. They didn't move for a long time. Outside, the dorm settled into its nighttime rhythm. Doors closing, music fading, someone practicing flute 3 floors up. Inside, 2 girls breathed the same air, unscripted. Eventually, Sophia yawned. I'm crashing. Rain check on the existential crisis? Mia chuckled. Rain check. Sophia crawled under her own covers, fully clothed, too tired to care. Mia pulled on an oversized tee and sleep shorts, then paused at the light switch. Leave them on? Sophia mumbled into her pillow. The stars. Mia left the string lights glowing. She climbed into bed, the mattress creaking in familiar complaint. For the first time in months, the room didn't feel like a stage. Just before sleep took her, she heard Sophia's voice, soft and slurred. Hey, Mia? Yeah? Next time I forget to knock. Maybe don't hide. Mia smiled into the dark. Next time I might not. The fan spun. The lights held. And in the small, amber-lit universe of their dorm room, 2 girls finally stopped performing. For each other, for themselves, for the quiet truth that sometimes being seen is the bravest thing of all. The room felt smaller then, even though neither of us had moved. I shifted slightly and the sheet slipped down a little. Her eyes flicked toward it, then quickly away, but not fast enough. Our gazes met. This time, neither of us looked away. There was something electric in the silence. An attention exactly, something deeper, quieter, more dangerous. I should probably put something on, I said, but I didn't move. She didn't either. We stayed like that. The quiet between us growing heavier, more alive. It wasn't awkward. It was charged like the air before a storm. And that terrified Memmer than the embarrassment from before. Because this wasn't about being caught. This was about what came next. Lila leaned back against the headboard, arms folded loosely across her stomach. She looked relaxed, but her fingers pressed white into her own skin. You ever think about what people don't say? She asked suddenly. I blinked. What do you mean? Sometimes, she said slowly. I think silence says more than words ever could. We dance around the feelings we already share just because we're too scared to name them. Her words hit me hard like sparks scratching dry grass. My throat felt tight. Were we talking about the same thing? The easy half-smile she usually wore was gone. Beneath that calm voice, there was something deliberate. Something waiting. I swallowed, choosing my words carefully. Then maybe we shouldn't ignore it, whatever this is. She didn't react right away. Just held my gaze, her eyes unreadable. Then slowly she nodded. The way she did it wasn't casual. It meant something. A step onto fragile ground, a line that once crossed we couldn't return from. In that stillness, something between us shifted. We hadn't moved, but the air had changed completely. I adjusted the sheet not to cover myself, but to keep my hand still. Across from me, Lila sat exactly as she was, eyes sharp and steady, watching. I cleared my throat. Are we actually talking about this or just circling around it? She exhaled softly. It might have been a laugh, but it wasn't. Maybe both, she said. There was no playfulness now, only honesty. It caught me off guard, that openness. She never let anyone see that side of her. I didn't mean to catch you off guard, she added quietly. I wasn't trying to sneak up on you. It's fine, I said, my voice lower than I intended. But it didn't feel like just an accident. It felt like something else, she nodded slowly. It was just seeing you like that. It wasn't about, being naked. You weren't just uncovered. You were unguarded. Her words landed deeper than I expected. Is that a bad thing? Yes, she shook her head. No, Julian. She looked down for a moment, then met my eyes again, her expression softer, but intent. Have you ever felt like we've been dodging something? Laughing too hard, looking too long, not saying what we'll already know? Her confession filled the room like the air before rain. Thick, electric, waiting. I shifted slightly, the sheet slipping lower. Her eyes flicked down, then back up to meet mine, a hint of tension in her throat as she swallowed hard. I don't know what this is, she said finally. I just know I feel it like it's in my bones. What are we supposed to do about it? I asked, voice barely above a whisper. She didn't answer right away, just held my gaze, then repeated softly, "What do we do about it?" And this time I understood. I nodded, my heartbeat echoing in my ears. We couldn't pretend anymore. She stood slowly, like every movement meant something. Crossing the space between us, she stopped at the foot of my bed. The desk lamp cast a warm glow across her face. Shadows trailed along the edge of my sheet. The air buzzed, alive, dangerous, beautiful. "Are you ready to fall?" she asked, voice low, rough with something real. I nodded. Words wouldn't have been enough. She sat beside me. The mattress dipped beneath her weight, and I felt the space between us disappear. Gravity pulling us closer in a quiet, inevitable way. Her presence radiated warmth, steady and grounding. My fingers twitched, but I didn't move. Not from fear of rejection, but from knowing how much this moment might change everything. Then her hand brushed lightly against mine. She hesitated, waiting. I shifted just enough to let my hand find hers. "You sure?" she asked, voice barely a whisper. "No," I breathed. "But I want to be." And somehow that truth was enough. We didn't move closer. We didn't need to. Just our hands lightly touching changed everything. In her eyes, I saw it all. Confusion, curiosity, fear, hope. And for the first time, neither of us pulled away. The tension between us felt alive, humming in the air like static before a storm. Her thumb brushed softly against my hand, slow and uncertain, but enough to make every nerve in my body spark to life. I wasn't even sure if I was breathing, and if I was, it didn't feel like enough. The silence that had once felt heavy now pulsed with something new. Anticipation. It was like the whole room was holding, its breath waiting for one of us to. Its breath waiting for one of us to move, to speak, to do anything that would break the fragile balance. Lila turned her head slightly, and I felt her gaze before I met it. Her eyes weren't playful or guarded anymore. They searched me like she was trying to read something hidden beneath my skin. When I didn't pull away, when I let her fingers stay tangled, a small smile touched her lips. It wasn't smug. It was relief, quiet and real, like something long locked had finally clicked open. Outside, the city kept moving, tires on wet pavement, a siren far off, the low hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Inside, time narrowed to the inch of space between our shoulders. She spoke first, barely louder than the lamp's faint buzz. "I used to think wanting you was a bad habit. Like biting my nails or checking my phone at 3 a.m., something I could quit if it tried hard enough." I laughed under my breath. "And now? Now I think it's gravity. You don't quit gravity. You just learn to live with the fall." Her honesty cracked me open. I'd spent years building careful walls, jokes, distance, the safe armor of friendship. Tonight, the mortar was crumbling. I turned my hand palm up beneath hers. She laced our fingers without looking, like muscle memory she'd never admitted to having. "I'm scared," I said. The words tasted foreign. "I never said them out loud, me too," she answered. "But I'm more scared of waking up tomorrow and pretending this didn't happen." The sheet had slipped to my waist. Goosebumps rose along my arms, but not from cold. She noticed, of course she did, and her free hand moved before thought, fingertips grazing the inside of my wrist, tracing the thin blue vein there like she was reading Braille. I shivered. She stilled. "Sorry," she whispered. "Don't be." Her touch traveled higher, slow, deliberate, mapping the line of my forearm, the hollow of my elbow, the slope where muscle met shoulder. Each inch felt like a question. Each inch answered by leaning in. When her palm finally settled against my collarbone, I felt the tremor in her fingers. Not nerves, restraint. She was giving me the last exit. I took it away. I lifted her hand, pressed my lips to the center of her palm. Her breath caught, sharp enough to cut glass. "Julian," she said, "my name a warning and a plea." I met her eyes. "Tell me to stop and I will." She didn't. Instead, she shifted, closing the last handspan between us. The sheet fell away entirely. I didn't bother catching it. Her forehead rested against mine. We breathed the same air, recycled, intimate. Her lips brushed the corner of my mouth, not a kiss, a test. I turned into it. and the test became truth. The kiss was slow, almost chaste, until it wasn't. Until her hand slid to the nape of my neck and my fingers found the warm skin beneath her t-shirt. Until the quiet room filled with the soft sounds of fabric shifting, of breath stuttering, of two people learning the shape of a want they denied for years. We broke apart only when oxygen demanded it. Her eyes were dark, pupils blown wide. Still scared? I asked. Terrified, she said, and smiled like it was the best news she'd had all day. She tugged me down until we were lying side by side, legs tangled, the lamp painting gold across her cheekbone. Her fingers drew idle circles on my chest, right over my heartbeat. We should talk about this, she said eventually. We will, I promised. Tomorrow, tonight I just want to feel you breathing. She laughed, the sound muffled against my shoulder. You're such a sap. You love it. She didn't deny it. Hours later, the lamp clicked off on its timer. Moonlight slipped through the blinds in silver bars across Thebed. Lila's head was on my chest, her hair tickling my chin. My arm had gone numb beneath her. But I didn't move. Outside, the city kept moving. Inside, everything had stopped, suspended in the fragile, perfect moment after the fall and before the landing. I pressed my lips to her temple. She stirred, murmured something sleepy and content. Whatever came next. Awkward mornings, difficult conversations, the slow work of building something real, could wait until dawn. For now, the room was exactly the right size and neither of us had to move. The radiator in the old Victorian house clanked like it was clearing its throat, the only sound in the living room besides the low hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Outside, late October rain tapped the windows in uneven Morse code. Alex sat on the couch with his knees drawn up, the fleece throw half draped across his shoulders, half puddled in his lap. Liam stood by the fireplace poking at the last stubborn log, even though the fire had been dead for an hour. The room smelled of wet wool and the ghost of cedar smoke. They had been roommates for 3 years, ever since sophomore year when the housing lottery paired them in a narrow double that smelled faintly of bleach and old pizza. They'd graduated, moved into this drafty rental together, and somehow never left each other's orbit. Liam still left his running shoes in the hallway like landmines. Alex still alphabetized the spice rack when he was anxious. They knew each other's silences the way sailors know tides. Tonight the silence was different. It pressed against the walls, thick as the steam from their forgotten mugs of tea. Liam set the poker down with a metallic clink. I can't keep doing this, he said. His voice was low, almost conversational, as if he were remarking on the weather. Pretending I don't notice when you look at me like that. Alex's pulse stuttered. He had practiced this moment in his head 1,000 times, on the tee, in the shower, during the quiet minutes before sleep, but none of the scripts felt right now. Like what? He asked, because stalling was easier than admitting. Liam turned. The lamplight carved shadows under his cheekbones. Like you're waiting for me to catch up. The throw slipped from Alex's shoulder. He didn't move to fix it. I thought I was being subtle. You're about as subtle as a fire alarm. Liam crossed the room in 3 slow steps and sat on the coffee table directly in front of Alex, close enough that their knees almost touched. I've been trying to talk myself out of this for months, telling myself it's just proximity. We live together, we work the same shifts at the cafe, we share a Netflix account. It's convenient to blur lines, but it's not convenient. He exhaled through his teeth. It's you. Alex felt the words land in his chest like stones dropped into still water. I thought you were straight, he said, the sentence small and ridiculous in the air. I thought so too. Liam rubbed the back of his neck. Turns out labels are less useful when the person wearing them keeps rewriting the tag. Alex laughed once, a surprise sound that cracked in the middle. I've had a crush on you since the night you burned spaghetti and tried to pass it off as deconstructed bolognese. Liam's mouth curved. I remember. You ate 3 helpings just to be polite. I was starving for you, not the pasta. The rain picked up, drumming harder against the glass. Liam reached out, hesitated, then let his fingertips rest against Alex's wrist. The contact was feather-light, but Alex felt it in his spine. "I don't know what this looks like tomorrow," Liam said. "I don't have a 5-year plan. I just know I'm tired of pretending I don't want to find out." Alex turned his hand, palm up, threading their fingers together. Liam's hand was calloused from guitar strings, warm from the ghost of the fire. "I'm scared," Alex admitted. "Not of you. Of ruining the one thing that's always made sense." "Then let's not ruin it," Liam said. "Let's just—" "Stop lying to it." Alex studied their joined hands. The freckles across Liam's knuckles, the scar on his thumb from a biking accident sophomore year. Familiar details suddenly electric. "Have you thought about this before tonight?" he asked. "Every time you fall asleep on the couch during movie nights, every time you hum off key in the shower, every time you leave your stupid fuzzy socks on the bathroom floor." Liam's voice dropped. "I kept telling myself it was nostalgia. Muscle memory. But it's not. It's want." Alex's throat tightened. He had spent years curating distance, jokes instead of confessions, playlists instead of love letters. Now the distance felt paper thin. He leaned forward until their foreheads touched. Liam's breath was warm against his lips, tasting faintly of chamomile and the mint gum he chewed when he was nervous. "Tell me if you want to stop," Liam whispered. "I don't," Alex said, and the words felt like stepping off a ledge into open air. The kiss was careful at first, a question asked with closed lips. Then Liam tilted his head, and the question became an answer. Alex's hands found the hem of Liam's sweater, fingers curling into soft wool. Liam made a small sound. Surprise, relief, hunger, and the kiss deepened. It wasn't fireworks. It was the slow unfurling of something that had been coiled tight for years. They broke apart only when the need for oxygen overrode everything else. Liam rested his forehead against Alex's, eyes closed. "Still okay?" "More than," Alex said. His voice cracked on the second word. "I've wanted this since the night you taught me how to parallel park and called me a hopeless case." "You are a hopeless case," Liam murmured, but he was smiling. "My hopeless case." They moved to the couch, rearranging limbs and blankets until they fit together like puzzle pieces that had been forced into the wrong box for too long. Liam's head on Alex's chest, Alex's fingers tracing idle patterns on Liam's shoulder blade. The radiator clanked again, a metallic heartbeat. "I keep thinking one kiss could rewrite everything," Liam said into the quiet. "It already has," Alex replied. They stayed like that until the rain softened to a whisper. At some point, Liam's breathing evened out, his weight a steady anchor. Alex stared at the ceiling, cataloging the cracks in the plaster, the way the streetlight painted gold stripes across the floor. He waited for panic, for the familiar spiral of what-ifs. It didn't come. Instead, there was a humming certainty, fragile but growing. Panic, for the familiar spiral of what-ifs. It didn't come. Instead, there was a humming certainty, fragile but growing. Morning arrived in watercolor shades of gray and rose. Alex woke to the smell of coffee and the soft clatter of Liam in the kitchen. He padded barefoot down the hall, drawn by the sound of Liam humming. Something old, maybe Springsteen. Liam stood at the counter in yesterday's jeans and one of Alex's hoodies, hair sticking up in defiant tufts. He looked up when Alex appeared in the doorway. "Hey," Liam said, soft and shy, like they hadn't spent the night learning the topography of each other's mouths. "Hey," Alex echoed. He crossed the linoleum and wrapped his arms around Liam from behind, chin hooking over his shoulder. Liam leaned back into the embrace, covering Alex's hands with his own. "Coffee?" Liam asked. "In a minute." Alex pressed a kiss to the side of Liam's neck, just below the hinge of his jaw. Liam shivered. They drank coffee, standing up, shoulders touching, trading small smiles over the rims of their mugs. The radio played low, some indie station neither of them admitted to liking. Outside, the rain had stopped. The world looked washed clean. I meant it, Liam said suddenly. All of it, not just the heat of the moment. I know, Alex said. I meant it too. Liam set his mug down and turned to face him fully. So what now? Alex considered. The practical part of his brain wanted spreadsheets, timelines, a PowerPoint titled Navigating the Transition from Best Friends to Boyfriends Without Imploding. The rest of him wanted to stay in this kitchen forever, coffee cooling, Liam's thumb tracing the inside of his wrist. Now we figure it out as we go, Alex said. No rules, just honesty. Liam's grin was crooked, relieved. I can do honesty. They spent the day in a haze of small domesticities, grocery shopping where their hands brushed reaching for the same bunch of bananas, laundry folded side by side on the living room rug, Liam strumming his guitar while Alex sketched logos for a freelance client on his laptop. Every so often, one of them would look up, catch the other's eye, and the air would spark. That night they cooked together, pasta this time, no burning involved. Liam hip-checked Alex away from the stove when he tried to add too much garlic. Alex retaliated by stealing a kiss mid-stir. The sauce simmered, the kitchen filled with steam and laughter. Later, in the dark of Alex's room, they mapped new territory with the same reverence they'd shown the night before. Clothes discarded. In a trail from door to bed, hands learning the language of want without fear. When Liam whispered Alex's name like a prayer, Alex felt the last of his reservations dissolve. Afterward, tangled in sheets that smelled of detergent and them, Liam traced the line of Alex's collarbone. Still scared? He asked. Terrified, Alex admitted. But the good kind. The kind that means something. Liam kissed the hollow of his throat. We'll be terrified together. Weeks blurred into a rhythm, mornings with shared showers and stolen kisses against the bathroom door. Afternoons, at the cafe where customers started calling them the cute ones, and Liam pretended to hate it. Evenings on the couch, legs entwined, arguing over what to watch until they gave up and made out like teenagers. There were stumbles. The first time Alex introduced Liam as my boyfriend to a coworker, his voice cracked on the word. Liam squeezed his hand under the table. The first time they fought, over something stupid, whose turn it was to take out the recycling, they retreated to separate rooms, hearts hammering. But they came back together, apologies soft and sincere, learning that conflict didn't have to mean collapse. One Sunday in November, they drove to the coast. The sky was the color of wet steel, the ocean restless. They walked the beach bundled in scarves and each other's coats, boots crunching on shells. Liam stopped to pick up a piece of sea glass, turning it over in his palm. Remember when we used to collect these? He asked. Sophomore year, that spring break trip to the Cape. You kept yours in a jar on your desk, Alex said. Called it your ocean savings account. Liam laughed. I still have it. He slipped the new piece into Alex's pocket. For the collection. Alex pulled him close, the wind whipping around them. I love you, he said, the words simple and enormous. Liam's eyes widened, then softened. I love you too. He said it like he'd been holding it in his mouth for years, waiting for the right moment to let it fly. They kissed with the taste of salt on their lips, the crash of waves drowning out everything but the steady beat of two hearts finally in sync. Back home, the radiator still clanked, the rain still fell, but the house felt different, larger, full of possibility. Alex no longer alphabetized the spices when he was anxious. He reached for Liam instead. Liam left his shoes in the hallway, but now Alex tripped over them with a smile. Some nights they talked about the future, grad school, jobs, cities they might live in. Other nights they didn't talk at all, just existed in the quiet certainty of skin against skin. There were still questions, still unknowns, but they faced them together, hands clasped, hearts open. One evening in December, snow dusting the windows, Alex found Liam in the living room stringing fairy lights around the bookshelf. The room glowed soft gold. "What's this?" Alex asked. "Practice," Liam said. "For when we get our own place. Figured we should start traditions early." Alex's chest ached with a sweetness too big for words. He crossed the room and kissed Liam slow and thorough, lights twinkling around them like captured stars. Later, wrapped in a blanket on the couch, Liam's head on his shoulder, Alex whispered, "I used to think love would feel like falling." Liam tilted his head up. "And now?" "Now it feels like coming home." Liam smiled, sleepy and content. "Welcome home, then." Outside, the snow fell thicker, blanketing the world in quiet. Inside, two boys who had once been afraid to held each other close, building something new from the ashes of old fears. The radiator clanked its approval. The fairy lights blinked like a heartbeat, and somewhere between the hush of snow and the warmth of shared breath, they knew. Whatever came next, they would cross every line together.